the matter? Good morning. Couple little family mini crises yesterday. We'll talk about them in just a few moments. Is that Georgie? You want to grab him? I'll put him at this end. Good morning. So, hi, George. What you up to, buddy? So, it's been a little crazy around our house, shocking. So, yesterday we were a little bit late getting everything set up, and we were all ready to roll, had, the title in, ready to go, and my mother came screaming down the hall, help, help, help. And so, those little family emergencies always come first. And basically, my father had passed out, and that happens occasionally, but he's larger and she's very tiny. You've seen her; she's all of, I don't know, 4'9", and so she needs help. When he passes out, she can't do anything, so she had him kind of propped up and needed our help, but he seems to be much better. He was just very weak yesterday, so we're in good shape. But so yesterday was really busy. I did 3 radio programs. I taped 3, 2 that I was interviewing someone else, and 1 where I was interviewed on someone else's show. So ended up being a really busy day, but they were all really excellent shows, and I'm looking forward to when they air. What did I do? I did a woman who does Feldenkrais method for movement, and she raises her dogs fairly naturally. She has black labs, and so that was a really interesting talk. It'll play sometime in January. Her name was Peggy Honig. And then I did another one with David Allen Arnold, who is the cameraman for Deadliest Catch, and he's the helicopter guy. He hangs out of the helicopter in videos over top of the Super Bowl, Beverly Hills Housewives. He's like 50 shows. Survivor, he got an Emmy for Survivor and the Deadliest Catch. Really interesting. And then we talked about how he rescued this aggressive dog off the streets and how that really changed his life and what a blessing it was. And so that was just a really good interview. And then I was on the Pitbull Patty show, which she's actually a realtor down outside of DC. And that was a really interesting show as well, because she wasn't familiar with holistic medicine for pets. And she's one of those people who buys pet food in the grocery store thinking that she's doing the right thing and that there is not a difference in pet food. And so it was a big education for her, and then hopefully will be a big education for the people who follow her. So, we're getting the word out there slowly but surely. But then after we were all done with all of that in the afternoon, Hugh and I decided that we would take Shayna out back because it was like 60 degrees here yesterday. Just a huge winter warm-up. And, this one here in the middle loves to play with her soft frisbee, Timmy. His name is Timmy because her favorite game is to sit on the sofa and push Timmy hey, you, say hi. Her favorite game is to push the frisbee off the edge of the sofa between the sofa and the coffee table. And so we always say, oh, Timmy's in the well, because she pushes it over and then she sits there and barks for us to come get it for her and give it back to her. She'll play that game all day long as someone is willing to go get Timmy out of the well and give him back to her. Would you like to go inform our whiner that she either needs some cheese to go with her wine or she needs to stop? That's my mother's dog, Shotzi. When my mom is outside in the barn working, Shotzi used to bark, and Hugh has informed her that she shouldn't bark, so now she whines. Anyway, so yesterday it was so beautiful outside, so we took Shayna out in the back field, the horse pasture, which is about an acre, and threw the frisbee for her over and over for, I don't know, 15 or 20 minutes, and I was out there scooping, horse manure out of the pasture while Hugh was playing frisbee with Shayna. And she just had such a good time. It is just her favorite thing in the entire world. And so generally we get her out every day, but a lot of times we just keep her in the smaller dog yard so she doesn't run as far. And, she goes and gets Timmy and she brings him back and drops him at our feet for us to throw him again. And it's just her favorite thing she lives for that. That's her favorite thing in the whole world. So she had a little extra time yesterday because the weather was just so nice. We were enjoying being outside. And when we came in, she started doing her, SM scratch that we get with the Cavaliers all the time. And a lot of times when they're overstimulated or overexcited, they'll do that air scratch where they kind of contort in a circle and they'll just start scratching and scratching. And so she did it, but she wasn't coming out of it. Usually if you distract them, you go pet them on the head or you kind of nudge them or talk to them, they'll pop out of it and stop doing it. Well, Shayna wasn't coming out of it and she just was so contorted. And Hugh said, I almost think she's having a seizure, but not quite. So he got her out of it by picking her up and holding her. And then I was sitting here watching her and she was coughing and gagging and just couldn't seem to catch her breath. And I thought, something is not right. So, she overdid, which is typical for Shayna. She, when we go on long walks, she's not the dog who walks on a loose leash next to you and just trots along. She's the dog that zigzags back and forth. And so if we put in 1 mile, she puts in 2 to 3 because she's just constant motion back and forth. And so the last few long walks that we've taken, she's come back, and it's taken her about an hour to really recover. She just comes back panting hard and, just like, oh my gosh. But she has so much fun. So, who wants to say no to that when she's having that much fun? So I got out my stethoscope yesterday and I listened to her, and in the past, she's had just a really, really low grade heart murmur. And when I grabbed the stethoscope down and listened to her, oh, Charlie, stop. When I got the stethoscope out and listened to her yesterday, I said, oh gosh, this sounds like a 3. And there's a little bit of rattling going on. And I said, I think this dog has just progressed over the last, very short period of time from being a dog where we're watching her heart status to being a dog that we need to treat her heart status. So my options were at, 6 o'clock last night, I could run her to the clinic and x-ray her and see what was going on, or I could follow my gut instinct because I had the stethoscope and I was able to listen to her. And so when we took them to give them their dinner last night, I said, Shayna is now ready to start on cardiac medications. So, she's been on CoQ10. All of our dogs take CoQ10 at a pretty high dose. They get 100 milligrams a day. The recommended dosage for CoQ10 is an antioxidant for heart health and, cancer prevention, just general overall health, is about 1 milligram per pound, which means these dogs would take, there is a 30 milligram capsule available on the market, so that would be closer for them. Most of them weigh about 15 pounds. But we do the 100, and the only side effect with going with a higher dose is they can get some softening of the stool. That hasn't been a problem for us, so we stick with the higher dose. That's Shayna snoring, by the way. So she's been on that, but, and just a really good diet, but we haven't gone past that. So as of last night, Shayna is now on enalapril. She started spironolactone this morning because that's once a day, and we give that once a day for our kids, and we want to keep it consistent. Last night we actually gave her a dose of Lasix because I could hear a little bit of rattling in there, and I thought we need to clear this out. I don't want her having fluid build up in her chest. We use something from Animal Nutrition Technologies, which is not available online. It's only available through veterinarians, but it's called Cardiac Support, and it's actually a glandular supplement. So it has a little bit of heart and thymus, thyroid, I think, CoQ10, L-carnitine, taurine, a lot of things that are just really good for heart health. If you have your pet on a raw food diet that includes organ meat like the heart, you're going to get a lot of that naturally, and you don't necessarily need to supplement it, but it's something that I have, so I give it to our guys. So we started her on that, and we also started her on pimabendin last night because when I listened to her, her heart rate was too high, it wasn't coming down, and it was obvious that she was struggling. So Shayna has now joined the ranks of Abby and Pookie being on the cardiac medications. And so, these are the Cavaliers. The Cavaliers are very, very prone to mitral valve disease. Charlie, who's the oldest, he's about 16. He's not on any cardiac medications. Well, actually, he is, but he's not on cardiac medications because of heart problems. His heart is great. He's heart clear. But he has SM, and he has SM the worst of any of the kids. And one of the things that we can do for SM is we can add Lasix to decrease the fluid production in the spinal cord. And because he takes Lasix, that can have a negative effect when it's given by itself on the heart and the kidneys. So we give him enalapril actually as a cardioprotective and kidney protective medication. So he actually takes cardiac medications, enalapril and Lasix, but he's not taking them for his heart as much as he's taking them for the SM. So sometimes it's a balancing act, kind of figuring out what works the best for everyone. I am a holistic veterinarian. Could I use herbs for these guys? I might get away with using hawthorn and dandelion and asparagus and, some of the natural supplements. But frankly, when they get to the age that these guys are and their cardiac status gets to where we are with them, I'm still at the point where I feel more comfortable. They are on herbs, but I feel more comfortable having them on the cardiac medications as well. The studies have shown increased lifespan using the pimabendin for these guys. Up to 15 months of additional high quality life. So I'm using it on our guys. And so the truly holistic people, you can fault me for that, but I am an integrated veterinarian, and I will use medications where I feel that they are appropriate and they're going to make the lifestyle and life quality for our pets better. So these guys are on an integrated protocol where they are using medications along with holistic supplements. So that was our day yesterday. It was a good day, but it was a little bit of a crazy day. My mom needed to stay inside with my dad, so I went out and took care of the horses and the chickens, which was kind of fun. I really love doing the barn work. I know why my mom enjoys going out there and doing it every day. It's nice, especially it was nice outside yesterday. So, it's nice to start your day out in the barn with the animals, and it's peaceful. And I put a video on my personal page of the snow geese. We had these huge flocks of snow geese that were going over yesterday, and, all the noise that they make when they're flying by. And if you've never seen a field full of snow geese, literally it looks like there's a foot of snow on the ground because they come in huge flocks and they come to clean up the cornfields after they're harvested. And there's a lot of corn out there, and they're just out there by the thousands, and it's just a solid sheet of white, and they have little black tips on their wingtips, and they're just beautiful. And the sound that they make when they're out there feeding in the fields is just really, really phenomenal. Okay, Hugh, would you like to give us some music? So everybody watch your kids carefully. If you notice that, you take them out to exercise, they're doing something differently, be vigilant and get them checked out. Very important for Dobermans and Boxers and Great Danes who are prone to dilated cardiomyopathy fairly early in life. Usually with them, we'll see it between 3 and 5. Mitral valve disease, a little bit older for that. So very common. So keep a good eye on your kids. Take good care of them. Oh.